As-Salaamu Alaykum and welcome to Sanzaf's Qurbani Q&A series, the show that covers your questions on Qurbani. My guest today is Sanzaf CEO Yasmina Franca and Head of Income for Western Cape, Ashraf Kenny. As-Salaamu Alaykum, shukran for joining me today.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In this episode, we're going to cover a little bit more of the technical questions on Qurbani. And Ashraf, I'll start with you. A basic one, but it does get a bit technical. What animals can I sacrifice and how many of that animals should I sacrifice?
So just to start off with, every eligible Muslim should provide one share of Qurbani, and that would either then be one share of a larger animal or a smaller animal, which would also then be considered one share. The larger animals, usually cows and camels, are, as I said, seven shares and can be split among 7 individuals, and then the smaller animals, the goats and cows, or the goats rather and sheep, would be one share. In South Africa, generally the animals that are slaughtered for udhiyah and for Qurbani purposes are cows and bulls, and then sheep and goats. There are other animals, for example, horses and chickens and fish. Unfortunately, those can't be used for the purposes of udhiyah.
Shukran so much. And just this minute, touching on, as Ashraf mentioned, 7 shares. My question is, can more than one person share in that reward, and can more than one person share in the ownership of an udhiyah?
Yes, Nazir. So as Ashraf mentioned, the larger livestock, so we spoke about cows, bulls, camels, they equal 7 shares. So because of that, the ownership of that and the niyyah can be made by 7 individuals to perform udhiyah using the larger livestock. And to add that, it does not necessarily have to be 7 members of the same family. So 7 individuals can come together and perform the niyyah to perform Qurbani with a bull or a cow, as Ashraf mentioned. In South Africa, that is the more common practice, and those 7 shares can be done as one slaughter using the larger livestock.
Okay, and Ashraf, talking of reward and shares, so one share would be a Qurbani, one small animal would be a share, that's my Qurbani. But who is included in the reward of that Qurbani?
So as the head of the family, he slaughters on behalf of himself and his family members or those who are dependent on him. Although they may be nieces or nephews or extended family, if they are dependent on him and they live under the same roof as him, then they share in that. Kids, for example, who don't live under the same roof or are financially independent and live on their own, they would be excluded from that particular Qurbani. So anyone under the who's dependent on the person that's performing the udhiyah would be included in that.
Shukran, Ashraf. And Sisters Minister, sticking to that, and a question we get every year, from a woman perspective, can she perform Qurbani if her husband already has?
Yes. So when a husband has made niyyah for udhiyah for the entire family, that is meant he'll make niyyah for himself and he'll make the niyyah for the entire family, which would include the wife. But if she has of her own personal wealth and she makes niyyah on her, makes niyyah herself to perform udhiyah, she will reap that reward as well. So she gets a double benefit from the point of view of the niyyah that the husband has made for the family, and then the one that she has made from her own personal wealth. But also just to mention that if you're a single woman, so as Ashraf spoke about, let's say it's a young adult living in the home, but is financially independent and earning their own wealth, have a good job and able to afford the udhiyah on their own, that person may do so and make niyyah. Does not necessarily have to be the father's niyyah for the entire family. They can make that woman can make the niyyah on her own and then reap the rewards for that which she has made niyyah for, but also the reward of that which her father has made niyyah for, or her husband.
Ashraf, so moving a bit forward, male or female, they've decided that they will be performing Qurbani this year. And in the build-up to that, what are they allowed to do and what are they not allowed to do?
So there are 2 main things that they're not allowed to do. Firstly, it's the removal of any hair from the head, from the body or from the face. And then they're also not allowed to clip the nails on the hands or the feet. Essentially, the last time the person could do that would be by Maghrib on the night before the 1st of the Hijjah. and then thereafter they would, doing such things would be impermissible for them until the udhiyah has been done or completed, at which point they can then resume those activities. On the other hand, other issues and ways of beautification, such as showering and applying perfume, etc., those remain permissible throughout the particular period.
Shukran so much. And Sister Yasmina, in closing, a question we get asked every year is, can I sell from the meat of my Qurbani?
A good question, Nazir, and I think it's important that we do answer that question. So it is not permissible to sell the meat of the Qurbani because Qurbani in itself, it's an act of ibadah. And it is done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to seek nearness to Him and to seek His reward. So to gain a worldly advantage of it is not permissible, because we also know that the meat in itself is used in three ways. So the Qurbani meat in three parts. The first part may be used personally for yourself and those in your household. The second third is that you can share with your family and even your neighbors. And then the last third with those who are in need. And those are all things that can be done with the meat and not be sold. And also just to mention that the meat, the afal, even the skin, cannot even be used as in lieu of services rendered for the sacrifice. So if somebody is assisting you in performing whatever goes with the sacrifice of the livestock, you may not use that as wages for them. You can gift it to them, but you may not use that in lieu, because then that in itself would be part of your worldly gain, and that is not permitted when it comes to Qurbani.
Yasmina, Ashraf, shukran so much for joining me today. I think that clears up a lot of the technical questions. Shukran to our viewers. Make sure to tune in next time as we continue to answer your questions on Qurbani. For more information, visit our website, and to purchase a Qurbani safely and securely, visit sanzaf.org.za. Believe in the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until next time, As-Salaamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.